Today I wanted to put out a video message about what it takes to heal. In this point of, at this point of our lifetimes, I think one of the biggest challenges for most of us is to understand why we need to fall sick. And there is always a form of suffering through diseases of all kinds, and now considering our lifestyles have changed over the many generations, there have been diseases and medical conditions that have emerged out of nowhere because of the change of lifestyle, and most of them, for instance, like cancer, have been creating a sense of a panic around the world. And some diseases don't even have a cure. So there are a lot of us who tend to sit around and wonder when we have someone who's suffering around us, or we see people lose their lives to these kind of conditions, and when there is a sense of hopelessness, and we tend to ask the question, why does God do this? Why do we have to suffer? Why is there illness? Why are young lives, like even children, go through such painful phases in their lives? Why are young lives and people who are so precious lost? Why do we have to lose them? Why is there suffering at all? Why is there pain? Now, of all the whys that we ask about these kind of illnesses and diseases, we must remember that diseases have existed for as long as we have been around. The only thing is that we fail to realize that diseases too are lessons in some way. As we evolve, we learn about different kinds of sufferings. We learn why they are there. And through these diseases, over the many generations, people have been inspired to find cures for them as well, which has brought out many new discoveries, many new technologies. So it has helped us to evolve as well. But when we look at a person who is suffering from a particular medical condition that that has a prolonged effect on their lives, where they have been not able to be productive, they have not been able to lead a normal life, and we tend to wonder, why is that person made to suffer? Why is that person going through so much? Why isn't there any relief? Why are people made to suffer in the first place? Why can't there just be no diseases? Well, let me tell you something. I feel that diseases, illnesses, are like any other thing in life that we choose to incarnate with, are a part of the evolution of each soul. The pain that comes from these sufferings, though we have a hard time getting through it, it leaves most of us devastated. It leaves us in a lot of pain, emotional and physical. And it is also very emotionally stressful and painful for the loved ones who watch someone suffer and even pass away. But there are always many reasons behind them. And I'm not talking about just the major health conditions that we haven't found cures for yet. I'm also talking about simple things. Simple things that, we find cures for, simple things that we can get over, but some of us go through a simple, something like a sinus infection. We may have prolonged sinus infection that just keeps going back and forth, no matter how much of medication you take. It may be there one day and then it comes back after a few days. There doesn't seem to be an end to it. So we want to know why. Why am I going through this? Why do I have to go through this? See, sometimes medical science doesn't have all the answers even to the simple questions we ask. Why am I having a sinus infection constantly? Why am I always, so sensitive? And I always get, some kind of allergic infection. Why so? So what I would like to say is, no matter how intense the medical condition is or not, there is always many reasons behind it. And medical science doesn't have to have all the answers to it. Way before medical science even came into existence, people used to still be treated in many ways. All kinds of ways, depending on the cultures, depending on what was available. There was even today we have all kinds of natural healing, we have medical science, and we have spiritual healing, all kinds of different forms of healing, which was not even available back many centuries ago. But even then, we seem to be coming up with new, viruses and all kinds of things that seem to be so complex in nature. Some of them don't even have cures. And what I would like to say is, when we look at the whole issue of health, there are a lot of spiritual reasons connected to them. One thing I would like to talk about is karma. If you would like to know why, and you don't seem to find any logical reason behind why you're sick or why you had to go through this, the first and foremost thing, there could be karma involved from a past life that needs to be healed. And the healing may not necessarily just be emotional, but physical too. When you are immobile from a medical condition, for instance, like I could share one of my experiences here to make you see the perspective that I learned from, the lessons I learned from that phase. Over 8 years ago, I had a knee surgery. It was because of a fracture, and my little boy was just 6 months old, and I needed to go through the surgery, which left me immobile for about 2 months, over 2 months. And my spouse had to look after the baby and me, and this was one of the most difficult phases we've been through in our lives. But I would say that looking back at it today, we both figured out that there were a lot of things that we learned from that one phase. Yes, there could be karma involved, because I've had injured that same knee in a couple of other past incarnations. So it was connected to a past life. But there were also lessons I had to learn from it. And I saw a beautiful side of life which I didn't see before, which was to understand, to learn who are the real people who would stand up for you and be out there for you, would turn up anytime you have something going on with your life that needs help. I was able to see another side of people I didn't see before, of friends, of family. The kind of support and love they offered at that point of time was immense. It brought so much of love and peace into my heart to understand there are people there. And then, of course, it gave me an awareness that I have to be more careful next time, that I have to be more responsible. All right? So you see, there are a lot of things you learn from even these conditions. Sometimes we feel all of a sudden our lives change. With just one moment, things could change. And for those of you who have had such experiences, you know that when you go through some incident that suddenly alters the very normalcy of your life, you are shaken up by the whole thing. It could be your doctor telling you that you have cancer. It could be that you end up in an accident. It could be anything. But that one moment changes the entire way you look at life. You suddenly feel so helpless. You suddenly feel so lost. And that has happened to me a lot of times. And I feel that it is supposed to make you stronger and not weaker. It shouldn't make you weaker. It should make you stronger, because you come out of it stronger emotionally than you did before. You may end up with a few scars, but those scars are what warriors call as victory. They have survived it. So you have survived it. When you look at those scars, you have to tell yourself, I've been through that. I learned something from it. So there is karma involved. There can also be soul contracts where you are here to help someone else evolve through a particular phase. And then there is also a past life issue that needs to be probably looked at. Again, if there is karma in that past life, and there are soul contracts in a past life that involve that incident, then you have to go through it again this time around. But if there's nothing that connects you to that past life, and you still seem to be going through some, let's say for instance you have some kind of medical condition that has been causing a lot of pain, or has left you suffering for a long time, and you could possibly, one of the options you do have that would help you in the healing process is to basically go back into a past life and see if there is any connection. Normally there will be. If you have a prolonged medical condition, normally there will be a past life connection, and you need to see if that past life connection can be detached. If there is no karma involved, if there are no soul contracts involved, there is a high possibility that you may find healing if you disconnect yourself from that past life. Alright? So there are many reasons, like I said. And then some of these medical conditions come from you not aligning yourself with your purpose here, or one of your chakras are blocked. One of the most common things that people face is respiratory diseases, allergic conditions, or even things like reflux and indigestion. It's usually related to the throat chakra. The throat chakra is a very commonly affected or blocked chakra in the whole system because it involves self-expression. It involves being able to communicate, to be able to be truthful to yourself and to those around you. So there are always connections to the chakras as well. So that is one other thing that you might want to look at if you require some kind of healing and you feel that something's bothering you medically. It is not that medical science cannot find solutions for you all the time, but you need to look beyond medical science to find solutions. There is always something connected to the healing. So do not feel that you're abandoned under some kind of, you've been abandoned, or you're not getting well because you're not supposed to, or it's like, you don't have to look at it negatively. There's always a way out. There's always a way of changing perception. So I'm giving you a few options to consider if you have not, spiritually, to look into the medical condition that may have been bothering you or your loved ones for a long time. I hope this in some way gives you it opens up a perspective for you. It opens up a new door for you to look at things differently, because I know there are a lot of people out there who are, lost. They just don't know why they have to go through certain things or what to do. And here I've given you a few options to look into. I hope this helps you, or helps whoever you think it should. I just felt that I should talk about this tonight because there have been a lot of people who approached me for this kind of healing, and I do offer healing, but I would also like to say that you may go through to many healers. You can go through many healers, but healing only is effective when there is no karma involved, and you're meant to be healed from that particular session. All right. So I would advise that even before you go to a healer, that you find out why you're having that medical condition. If it's temporary, if it gets healed once, twice, that's great. But if it keeps going on, it doesn't seem to get well, no matter what you do, then maybe you should stop and listen to yourself. Maybe you should stop and find out why you're really having this and go above and beyond your medical reports. It's because there is something called the soul inside you, and you're connected to a metaphysical consciousness that is away and beyond what we would perceive as normalcy. I think this would be a good thing for you to look into, and I hope that you find that this video message has been useful. Please share it if you will, because I feel that it has to go out there and reach out to as many people as possible. Thank you so much for being here, and God bless you.